I think one thing is that my SP loves to drive, and as far as what I know, is he had a bike which he was having for last I think from 2017 or 18. He had that bike, and it was like it has always stayed with him, and he was very attached to his bike. In fact, there was once a fight with between him and me, like not a fight actually, but he was angry on me, and I tried to touch his bike, and it was already broken, and he was not in the mood for me to touch that bike, and he acted very defensively by saying, "Don't touch my bike." I'm like, okay, I'll not touch it. So I think one thing I've learned from my SP is that whenever you are in like you have heavy emotions, you just go for a drive and you feel better. And I have really learned that, and I feel really good. Like it wasn't there in my system before this, but he just made me realize that it was always a part of me. And you know I come from this belief system, like I do not know if my family carries it as in I don't know, like I have not seen my mother and father together in a marriage or a relationship. So I do not know how family dynamics are. I have seen my grandmother and grandmother and grandfather, but I've seen them like for a very little time when I was a kid, and after that my grandfather passed away. So which is the reason I do not know like how they used to behave with their husbands. But I've always assumed this role that that the role of a guy is to lead. The role of a guy is to be the leader. So I'm not saying that a woman cannot be a leader. I do not share those kinds of thoughts. But what I'm trying to say is like even Jesus says that a man is the leader of the household, and but that man is very very caring for his wife, and which is why like the wife's role is to nourish the man, and the man's role is to be the leader of the household. And it was not meant in a very oppressive way. It just meant that men are like that only because they're born with a dominant gene, but not in a as in I'm saying this in a healthy way. I'm not saying it in a bad way. So men are like that only, and women are, they are emotional, they're sentimental, they are a bit different than men. And they are mostly, she will nourish the man, his children. So it's like that. So I like so whenever I close my eyes, I see my SP and me, I see, because I'm a Bengali, so I will imagine Bengali bridal dresses only. So I imagine my SP and me as he's wearing a Punjabi suit, and I'm wearing a sari, and and we are married already. Like all those things which show that you are a married person. So that shows up. So and we'll have our honeymoon in the Paris, and we'll just kiss each other there near Eiffel Tower. So this is what I want to live, and I am living this life. I am assuming that I'm living this life. I'm seeing myself kissing him in front of the Eiffel Tower, and his smiley face, and his his eyes are a bit puffy. I do not know why. Maybe he doesn't sleep properly at night. And yeah, that's it. And I showed his picture to one of my colleagues, and he was appreciative of him. But you know, if even slightly someone makes fun of him, it becomes a world war between me and that other person, because I am like, I protect this person like anything. And just a second. So I protected this person like anything, and I would do just anything to protect this person. Uh, so that's what I do. But that doesn't mean like, I do rebuke him these days if something is not right. I would ask him to change himself. I mean, those habits, not himself, but those habits of him. So that's what I meant. But yeah, so that's what I am saying, that I I really, I don't know, this is just, I'm just sharing my thoughts about my SP. And so what I just learned about something is, sometimes what happens is that you might be feeling hurt, okay? So if you're feeling hurt, you need to just let it flow, okay? Because what happens is that what you resist, it persists. So if you are like, okay, I do not want to feel this hurt, I will just keep making me laugh and etc. So it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen like that always. So you need to process your feelings. Once you process your feelings, you'll be better. And as I said, that don't focus on shit, the shit will fix itself. I really mean it. I mean, you do not need to now know how the shit will fix itself, but you just need to be a very you just need to be very mindful. You need to actually see where you are actually putting your focus on, and that's the thing. And if you have some good friends to talk to, please talk to them. And one more thing which I wanted to say is that whatever you follow in Instagram, or maybe there are certain images, okay? Like I find it in 1 minute. There is an application which is called as Pinterest. So there you can find very good pictures, okay? So make sure whatever you follow good things, okay? Because if you follow good things will come to you back. And if you follow things which are not helping you to get the life you want, then bro, you are in trouble, or sis, you are in trouble. So that's the thing, okay? Now about an irrelevant 3D or something which is not helping you, you need to see it as a bridge of event leading you to your manifestation. And I would just say that stop reacting to anything which your SP said. Stop reacting to anything which is happening in your current reality. Just try to respond and leave it as it is, and shit will fix itself. Okay, that's what I learned. Shit will fix itself. So okay, I also wanted to make one more video, but for that you need to give me just 2 minutes time. Okay, so if I had one more chance to talk to my SP, I would say this one thing, that I would just say this one thing, that I want to travel the world with you. I want to travel the world with you. I want to travel only with you, no one else. I do not want anyone. It could be even if like the richest man comes and proposes to me, I'd still say no, because I want you. I am like that Monica and Chandler, wherein like they were trying to have a baby or something, and I think Chandler had some problem with helping with the baby with Monica, and so he says that so he asks Monica to, I think, take someone else's sperm and make a baby, and then she said that no, that will still not be you, and I want your baby, and so they adopt a baby. So that's what I feel for my SP as well. Here it's not about a baby, here it's about a future together. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. And yes, I wanted to read something out for you guys. So, the law of assumption. The great mystic William Blake wrote almost 200 years ago. So, I'm reading from a book of Neville Goddard, Be What You Wish. So, what seems to be is to those to whom it seems to be, and is productive of the most dreadful consequences to those to whom it seems to be. Now, at first, this mystical gem seems a bit involved, or at best to be a play on words, but it is nothing of the kind. Listen to it carefully. What seems to be is to those to whom it seems to be. That is certainly clear enough. This is a simple truth about the law of assumption and the warning of the consequences of its misuse. The author of the Epistle of the Romans declared in the 14th chapter, I know and am persuaded by the Lord Jesus, and there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclear. So basically what this line is trying to say is that what seems to be to those to whom it seems to be, that is certainly clear enough. It's a simple truth about the law of assumption and a warning of the consequences of its misuse. So basically it is trying to tell you what is your perception about thing. Okay, so I'll just tell you this loud and clear. And I'm currently facing a lot of triggering situation, but I'm trying to take it very boldly because I know there is the reward of this is my marriage with my SP. So I wanted a honeymoon with my SP in Paris, and somehow the guy my mother wanted to talk to, he's from France, and I know if I tell this to my SP, he would be intensely triggered because I know him very well, and he starts thinking that he is somewhere not enough for me or something like that. But had I had the chance to even assure him this, that if you have me, you don't have to worry for anything. I am not persuaded by someone's wealth. I'm not persuaded by where someone lives, or if it is not you, then it is not you. So I think this kind of inner conversations you should have with your SP, because what happens is that when you try to talk this out to them on a subconscious levels, it feels better to them. Yes, you need to let them work things out for them to come and be available to you for the commitment, but you need to give them that love and support which they need. Because see, for me, if love is not unconditional, then that is not love. First thing. Second thing is that this is not some casual dating kind of thing which you have with your SP. Had you been actually on that surface level dating kind of stuff, like ticking checkbox and stuffs like that, then you wouldn't have been coming into this manifestation community to manifest your SP. So you have come a long way, and I appreciate you for that, because it takes a lot of courage to do that, and people who are not courageous will never come into this manifestation community. It takes a lot of faith to build yourself up, to prepare yourself that I have what I want because I am what I am. the power of I am. I think I made this video on it, and if you guys can relate. So I am a doctor. You are no more saying that I want to be a doctor. I am a doctor. So I have already taken this identity of I am a doctor. So that's what you need to be clear of. So we can see by this that this is not superior insight, but purpletness that leads into the greatness of men, some littleness with which it chances to be familiar for what it seems to be. So experiments recently conducted at two of our leading universities reveal this great truth about the law of assumption. They stated in their releases to the newspapers that after 2000 experiments, they came to the conclusion that what you see when you look at something depends not so much on what is there as on the assumption you make when you look. So I'll tell you something. So I think my mother must have told my SP that you call her or something and tell her that you are not interested. I'm not doubting that my SP wanted to talk to me on a call. Maybe that also got fulfilled by this, but I know what can happen by yesterday's incident, and I'm telling you that this thing which happened yesterday, that will be reversible and everything will be good in the end. So I just need to stick in the end, and I encourage you guys to stick in the end also. And whatever it is, like maybe it could be because my mother thinks that my SP doesn't want to marry me because he told that, so that's why she might be believing in on the surface level words. And you know what, let it be, just let shit be. Shit will fix itself. Okay, so what you believe to be the real physical world is actually only an assumptive world. In other words, you would not define your husband in the same way that your mother would. Oh my god, this is written in the book. Yet you are both defining the same person. Your particular relationship to a thing influences your feelings with respect to that thing and makes you see it in an element which is not there. If your feeling in that matter is a self element, it can be cast out. If it is a permanent distinction in the state considered, it cannot be cast out. So the thing to do is to try. If you can change your opinion of another, then what you now believe of him cannot be absolutely true but relatively true. Basically, if you see your SP's words as something which you cannot change, then you will continue to see it this way. That's why manifestation coaches tell you that see them in the way you want them to be in your life. So my SP is committed to me, my SP always loves me, my SP is my forever. What these are the things you should be telling to yourself. Okay, so men believe in the reality of the external world because they do not know how to focus and condense their powers to penetrate its thin crust. Yes, this is true. Men believe in the reality of the external world because they do not know how to focus and condense their powers to penetrate its thin crust. Strangely enough, it's not difficult to penetrate this view of the senses. To remove the veil of the senses, we do not employ great effort. The objective world vanishes as we turn our attention from it. We have only to concentrate on the state desire to mentally see it, but to give reality to it so that it will become an objective fact. So we must focus our attention upon the desired state until it has all the sensory vividness and feeling of reality. So, today also, like I was crying, but I kept on affirming, like I put my manifestation affirmations loop which I've created, because see, you might be crying, you might be laughing, you might be joking, you might be in the bathroom, you might be shitting on someone. Whatever you want to do, you can do. But what I'm trying to say is, if your belief is intact, even if like you're crying, you're being angry, you are being a mad person, you are being a mad fellow, whatever it is, if your belief on that particular thing is intact, then that's done. Might be people around you are saying that, I don't know like how you are thinking this way, or whatever it is. They might have their own opinions, but that shouldn't matter to you, because here also it is saying, even Neville is saying, that your mother might have a different perception about your husband, and you might have a different perception about your husband, because people's feelings are different. Your mother does not know how your husband actually is from the inside, but you have known your husband since the time you both were in college, right? So that's how it is. So when Through concentrated attention, our desires appears to possess the distinctness and the feelings of reality. When the form of thought is as vivid as the form of nature, we have given it to the right to become a visible fact in our lives. So each man must find the means best suited to his nature to control his attention and concentrate it on the desired state. I find for myself the best state to be of the meditation, a relaxed state akin to sleep, but a state in which I am still consciously in control of my imagination and capable of fixing my attention on a metal object. If it is difficult to control the direction of your attention while in the state akin to sleep, you may find gazing fixedly into an object very helpful. Do not look at the surface, but rather into and beyond any plane object such as a wall, a carpet, or an object which possesses depth. Arrange it to return as little reflection as possible. Imagine then in this depth you are seeing and hearing what you want to see and hear until your attention is exclusively occupied by the imagined state. So there is a song in Telugu actually. So its name it is termed as it's one of my favorite song, and I used to hear this song because like my SP belongs to that language, and I wanted to understand his language actually, basically. So I was hearing this song for quite a long time. So there was a time like I was intensely triggered by something which he had said, and it was some time back, I think 1 year back, I guess. So what I did was I played that song, and I didn't know, like I just followed my intuition, and I was taking Saat Feras with him in the terrace. And I actually imagined him, putting sindoor on me, putting Mangal Sutra on me, and all that kind of stuff. So I imagined, and it was such a heavenly and divine kind of experience. I was like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. And I kept on doing it for some 5, 6, 7 times, almost like 10 times I did. And then the next day I followed this, like similar to it, 7 days also, like I kept doing this, okay. And then I actually started getting into that thing. Before that, I thought that I am not someone who he marries. I mean, I had this assumption unconsciously because I was so scared of not being chosen, and that is because like I had a wound of I am not chosen thing. So something made me realize that I need to do this affirmations of I am chosen, I am chosen, I am chosen, and I kept doing this for almost like 1.5 months until it became a part of me, and I still do it. But what I'm trying to say here is I did this Saat Feras activity just to stay in the end, and that's the thing. And sometimes I even imagine one of our common friends, trying to bless us, even if they are junior to us. Like he's my brother, basically, my classmate and my brother. So I imagine him actually very happy for us because he has always supported our relationship. So that's the thing, okay. So at the end of your meditation, when you awake from your controlled waking dream, you feel as though you had returned from a great distance. The visible world which you had shut out returns to consciousness, and by its very presence informs you that you have been self-deceived into believing that the object of your contemplation was real. But if you remain faithful to your vision, this sustained mental attitude will give reality to your visions and will become visible concrete facts in your world. Now suppose you wanted to become an engineer. Did you become an engineer one day? One day you just imagined it and you became an engineer. It doesn't happen that way. So basically what you did was you kept on imagining it, and then ultimately one day you became an engineer. So that's how it is. So define your highest ideal and concentrate your attention upon this ideal until you identify yourself with it. Assume the feeling of being it, the feeling that would be yours, where you now embodying it in your world. The assumption, though now denied by your senses, if persisted in, will become a fact in your world. You will know when you have succeeded in fixing the desired state in consciousness simply by looking mentally at the people you know. This is a wonderful check. So one more example I would give you. So my boss, I have a female boss now. Before this I had a male boss who was quite nice, but usually male bosses are nicer than female bosses. But what I am trying to mean here is this female boss was a bit difficult kind of person. So for some time, like I was just for some of the other reason, I started saying her name and started saying thank you. and today she behaved in a way she never behaves. And this is something like I found that, oh my god, in a conversation works so well. Like, it's not just the first time, I've seen this many a times with many things and many situations. So what you basically need to do is you need to concentrate your attention, you need to concentrate your attention to something which is, so you need to concentrate your attention and think that, what you want is already done. Okay, so, and you can have inner conversation with the person you want to talk to. Okay, so this assumption, though now denied by your senses, if persisted in, will become a fact in your world. You will know that you will have succeeded in fixing the desired state in consciousness simply by looking mentally at the people you know. This is a wonderful check on yourself, as your mental conversations are more revealing than your physical conversations are. If in your mental conversations with others you talk with them as you formerly did, then you cannot change your concept of self. For all changes of concepts of self resulted in a changed relationship of the world. Now, one thing I would like to tell you, and I'm not holding this against anyone or something. So yesterday I told my SP, you are my friend, and he kind of brought an old topic up by saying, hi, it is only by your words you call me your friend. And I had an inner conversation with him inside my mind, which I didn't bring it up in the conversation because I didn't want to drag that thing there. But I told him inside my mind, you are just seeing few of our initial instances wherein you felt a bit neglected by me as something that you thought that I do not see you as a best friend, and I created one whole channel just because I wanted to manifest you in my life. I am fighting with my family to marry you even when you have not been in that desired ideal real version yet, and maybe you're trying on your own level, but you have not actually said those words that yes, I want to marry you. And I know that you try for us, and I know that you love me. But if you keep on sticking to that old thing, that okay, at some point of time I could not give you because I myself was not emotionally available to anyone. It was not just with my SP. I was not emotionally available to anyone because I had a very, very bad breakup. So at that point of time it was not possible for me, but I really, really cared for this person. And I don't know, like, I understand he had some expectations and I could not meet them at that point of time, but I seriously, like, I just feel like he should concentrate on so many things I've done for him rather than sticking on to that time when I couldn't give him what I should have. And I'm sorry to him for that, but so I did not drag this out. But I told this to myself, I told this to him through my inner conversation today, that you should not be dragging past things into our relationship again, because there are some mistakes which you have done, there are some mistakes which I have done. We should be forgiving each other if we want a life with each other. So that's what I told him in my inner conversation today. So let's see. It will eventually, like, if I keep on sending that signal to him, then he will eventually subconsciously get that message, like how it reached to my boss today. Whatever inner conversation I was having with her, it reached to my boss today, and she turned up in a very good. That's why they say, like, I had read this in the book of secrets also, in law of attraction, that law of attraction book. So here I'm talking about law of assumption, but that is law of attraction, but essentially it more or less means the same thing. Whatever your thoughts, your dominant thoughts becomes your reality. Thoughts becomes things. People have manifested their pregnancy because out of this, and we just want to manifest our specific people, and that's quite easy actually. So that's the thing. Okay, now let me continue the book. Remember what was said earlier. What you see when you look at something depends not so much on what is there as on the assumption you make when you look. So suppose you look at a very sick dog, which is maybe sleeping in the street, and your friend tells that this dog might have a fight with the other dog and must have got hurt. That's how your maybe your friend perceives it. How you perceive it is that that dog must have been malnourished, and that's why it is lying in the side of the street. So two people, different perception, but the dog is the same entity. So now tell me, isn't your perception forming your reality? So suppose, like, maybe in the past somebody left someone, okay, somebody left someone, and after that the other person who was left, he started framing assumptions like, okay, so every time I fall in love somebody will leave me, so it is better I leave that someone before they leave me. Sometimes people develop this kind of trauma, so that needs to be resolved. For that, how will you resolve that trauma? That the thing is like, so like, for example, even I had this kind of assumptions that, relationships aren't permanent or marriages aren't permanent, but then I had to actually affirm it out, and soon enough I'll be doing a session which is basically on anxious and avoidant attachment styles and how you can help yourself out of this, because whether you're anxiously attached or you're avoidantly attached, it's not helping your relationship, and you need to be security attached to be in a relationship. And I'm not saying, and just because you have an anxious attachment or just because you have avoidant attachment, you're not abnormal. It's just like you didn't know how to cope with things which you had got in your maybe childhood or previous times, and you could not find healthy coping mechanisms to deal with it. That's why you develop that style, and it's quite normal. It happens, it's a phase, and things solves out eventually. Okay, so the spiritual man speaks to the natural man through the language of desire. The key to progress in life and to the fulfillment of dreams lies in the ready obedience to the voice. Unhesitating obedience in its voice is an immediate assumption of the wish fulfilled. To desire a state is to have it. As Pascal said, you would not have sought me had you not already found me. Man, by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled and then living and acting on this conviction, change his future in harmony with this assumption. To change his future is the inalienable right of freedom-loving individuals. There would be no progress in the world where it is not for the divine discontent in a man which urges him on to a higher and higher levels of consciousness. So, your current level discontentment leads you to a higher level of consciousness. So basically, how did I come to spirituality? Let me tell you. So I was always a very spiritual kind of person, but how do I reach spiritualism? So I had too many heartaches all my life, so I just wanted to get rid of that pain. So, and spiritualism helped me deal it. Whether you try alcohol, whether you try smoking, or whether you try drugs, nothing will work this out. Not even sleeping with someone would work it out, or filling that void with obnoxious pills which is just helping you for some time and then it doesn't help you. Nothing would work out the way spirituality does. Why? Because it goes to the root cause of your problem and it addresses it, and it helps you become a better person and a man or a woman. So it has done that to me. I used to be a very difficult kind of person, like I was a female, but I had an attitude like a man. So basically, I never wanted to break in. I was too dominant, and I was even rude to people, because I had this subconscious thing inside my mind that since I don't have a father, I need to act like a man to not let the world take advantage of me. And where I let my guards down, I think when I met some very good friends of me who were of the opposite gender, but they kind of made me realize that, when you are with good people around you, you do not have to keep that walls. And then when I met my SP, it ultimately broke down totally. He totally made me a very soft kind of person and very soft kind of human being. Like, he broke down all my walls in every way. So yeah, now okay, so now to change his future in the inalienable right of freedom-loving individuals, there would be no progress in the world were it not for the divine discontentment in man which urges him on to the higher and higher level of consciousness. I've chosen this subject so close to the heart. So this is Neville saying that he's going to lecture somewhere in Wilshire Boulevard near La Cienega Boulevard. somewhere, I don't know where is it. So he's going to lecture on this topic. Now let me read that lecture. Since the right to change our future is our birthright as sons of God, let us accept its challenge and learn just how to do it. Again today, speaking of changing your future, I wish to stress the importance of a real transformation of self, not merely a slight alteration of circumstance, which in a matter of moments will permit us to slip back into the old dissatisfied man. Now what happens is that, so basically, once upon a time, somebody used to tell me that you need to change this habit or that habit, and I tried to change it, but that was not actually a real transformation. What happened was, like, I was trying to do some surface level break fix thing, and that was not helping. Only when I think when I met my SP and I wanted to better the relationship, I went into my root cause issues and I tried to fix it, and I tried to work things out for the betterment of us. So you also need to do the same. So when you are manifesting something, whether it's your SP, whether it's your dream job or whatever it is, you need to actually change your inner identity. It's not just surface level change that won't work here. Again today, speaking of changing your future, I wish to stress the importance of a real transformation of self, not merely a slight alteration of circumstance, which in a matter of moments will permit us to slip back into the old dissatisfied man. In your meditation, allow others to see you as they would see you, where his new concept of self a concrete fact. You always seem to others the embodiment of the ideal you inspire. Therefore, in meditation, when you contemplate others, you must be seen by them mentally as you would be seen by them physically. Your conception of yourself an objective fact. So I think I've done this with my mother-in-law. So whenever I imagine my mother-in-law, my SP's mother, so what I do is I imagine her that she is welcoming me to their family. I imagine my sister-in-law being very, very friendly and sisterly to me, and I imagine my father-in-law as well, like a father to me, like the father who I never got. So all these I actually imagine. Now, am I interacting them in the 3D as the way I should at this point of time? No, but I am imagining these things. I'm assuming people to behave. I want them to behave because they are my SP's family. So I naturally want to be close to them. I want to give them all the love which they deserve. So that's what I'm seeing, and I have been doing this. I think I had been visualizing my mother-in-law for quite a long time. So when I met her, she behaved exactly the way I had imagined her to be. So if this is not an example, then I don't know what it is. Okay. So now, therefore, in meditation, when you contemplate others, you must be seen by them mentally as you would be seen by them physically in your conception. Okay, so if you assume that you were what you want to be, your desire is fulfilled, and in fulfillment, all longing to be is neutralized. So this is also an excellent check on yourself as to whether or not you have actually succeeded in changing self. You cannot continue desiring what has been realized. Rather, you are in a mood to give thanks for a gift received. Your desire is not something you labor to fulfill. It is recognizing something you already possess. It is assuming that feeling of being that which you desire to be. So I want to be this. When you say want to be means you don't have it. What you need to say is I am this. So I am Mrs. something. I am Mr. whatever. So you can use your girlfriend's name and then you can put Mr. this, Mrs. your boyfriend's surname or first name, whatever it is, whatever your rule is. Okay, believing and being are one. Okay, you have to, when you believe, you have to be that identity. So the conceiver and his conception are one. Therefore, that which you conceive yourself to be can never be so far as even to be near, for nearness implies separation. If you cast believe, all things are possible to him that believe. Faith is the substance of things hoped for the evidence of things not seen yet. If you assume that you are that finer, nobler one you wish to be, you will see others that they are related to your high assumptions. All enlightenment wish for good of others. If it is the good of another you seek, you must use the same control contemplation. In meditation, you must represent that others to yourself as already being or having the greatness you desire for him. As for yourself, your desire for another must be an intense one. It is through desire that you rise above your present sphere, and road from longing to fulfillment is shortened as you experience in imagination. all you would experience in the flesh were you or your friend the embodiment of the desire you have for yourself. Experience has taught me that this is the perfect way to achieve your great goals for others as well as for myself. However, my own failures would convict me were I to imply that I have completely mastered the control of my attention. I can, however, with the ancient teachers say, this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth onto those things which are before. I press towards the mark for the prize. So this is what this chapter is, and I think it's a beautiful illustration of what the law of assumption is, and I hope you got my point through this. My motive is to only help you guys get what you want, and these are just the tools of getting what you want, and I hope this helps you. Thank you.